Do you ever wonder if life really was better back then? Or are we just really good at romanticizing the past? People always say, those were the good old days. But what if the good old days weren't actually that good? If you ever caught yourself missing old cartoons, your first Nokia phone, or the vibe of the early 2000s, you're in the right video because we're gonna talk about nostalgic stuff. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any ideas of what videos to make, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Guys, I really wanted to be a YouTuber. This has been my dream since 2013. So a like and subscribe would really mean a lot to me. And it drives me more to create this type of videos. So if you're a person who likes nostalgic stuff and wants to talk about the past so much, you got my channel, bro. So let's start with this. Have you ever watched an old show or replayed a game that you loved as a kid, only to think, wait, this wasn't that amazing? Like, there was this time that I thought Adventure Time was a really bad cartoon when I was a kid, and then now that I have grown up and I'm actually currently watching Adventure Time right now, and I just realized that that cartoon has so many side stories and lore and stuff like that, and I didn't thought it was this amazing compared to when I was a kid. That feeling where something from the past feels better than it actually was, that's nostalgia. And it's a tricky little emotion. It makes us think that the music was better, the summer were longer, people were kinder, and life was easier. But is that the truth? Or just a story our brain tells us? There's actually a science behind this. Psychologists have found that nostalgia works like a mental filter. It's like Instagram for your memories. It smooths out the bad stuff and adds a warm, cozy glow to the good. A study from the University of Southampton found that when people feel nostalgic, they rate their lives as more meaningful and feel more connected to others. It's like a mental hug. But there's a catch. The brain is also terrible at remembering things accurately. We tend to forget the stress, the boredom, the arguments with our siblings, the weird smells of the computer lab at school. What we keep are the feelings, the safety of our childhood bedroom, the laughter at the sleepovers, the thrill of hearing a new song on your iPod shuffle. But that's just one side of the coin. Let's go ahead and talk about the music. People say, music today is garbage. Back then, we had real music. But the truth is, even in the 90s or early 2000s, there were tons of terrible songs. We just forgot them. What sticks around are the hits, the classics. So of course it seems like music back then was better. You're comparing the best of the past with the average of today. People worship the Disney Renaissance or early Pixar, but we forget about the dozens of awkward sequels and forgettable animations that came out at the same time. And let's be real, if you rewatch some of those masterpieces today, you'll notice the pacing is slow, the animation's gonna be janky, and the jokes don't always land like they used to. But maybe it's not about the content itself. Maybe it's about how we were. See, nostalgia isn't really just about the past. It's about you in the past. When you say you miss Saturday morning cartoons, you're not just missing the show. You're missing who you were back then. Carefree, unbothered, no deadlines, no bills. When people say childhood was better, they're not wrong. For them, it probably was. But it wasn't because the world was objectively better. It's because their world was smaller, safer, and filled with wonder. And here's something wild. A lot of people feel nostalgia for things they never even experienced. Like, have you ever seen someone born in 2004 and say they miss VHS tapes and blockbusters? That's called vicarious nostalgia. And it happens because we're constantly exposed to curated images of the good old days online. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they all play a part. People post VHS filtered videos, vintage fits, or retro iPhone setups. And suddenly the past feels like a cooler, more authentic place than the present. But let's not forget, those eras had their own issues too, like dial-up internet, casual racism in the media, lack of mental health awareness, and some truly questionable fashion choices. But let me stop here and ask you the hard question. Are you using nostalgia to escape the present? It is tempting, I know. The modern world is loud, fast, overwhelming. We're drowning in notifications, opinions, and responsibilities. It makes sense that we'd retreat into our memories, where things felt simpler, but that can be dangerous too. When we get stuck in nostalgia, we start to reject the present and fear the future. We look up old YouTubers, we play the same games, listen to the same songs, and slowly, we stop growing. This is the problem with nostalgia. I know it's comforting, but it can also be a trap. It's like watching reruns of your favorite show forever. Familiar, safe, but nothing new ever happens. Life becomes a loop instead of a journey. We stop making new memories because we're too busy replaying the old ones. And marketers know this. Companies use nostalgia to sell us stuff constantly. Why do you think reboots and remakes are everywhere? Why do brands bringing back old logos, limited edition snacks, or retro packaging? Because it works. Nostalgia triggers emotion, and emotion sells. But here's the twist. Nostalgia doesn't have to be that bad. In small doses, it can be very powerful. It can remind you of where you came from. It can help you feel grounded when life is chaotic. It can reconnect you with people you've lost touch with, or even with a version of yourself you've forgotten. The key is not letting it become your default. Think of nostalgia like a photo album. It's nice to look through, smile at the memories, feel a little tug in your chest, and then close it. Stand up and continue living your life. Because as much as the past felt golden, it wasn't perfect. We just remember it that way. And honestly, 20 years from now, you might look back on today with the same fondness. The memes, the chaos, the awkward texts or chat or DMs, the random adventures with friends, even this exact moment, watching a video like this. So was it actually better back then? Maybe. But maybe it just felt better because we didn't know what we know now. Because we were younger, softer, curious, and more open to wonder. The past is a great place to visit, but you don't want to live there. Instead of asking, why isn't life like it used to be? Maybe you should be asking, what can I do now to make life feel that good again? Make new memories, find new songs, try new things, and create moments that future you will look back on and say, those were the good old days.